Good evening, everyone. I am happy to see so many people here this evening to listen to and discuss the Vista Perimeter Fence. I ask that you silence your cell phones. At our board meetings, you know that I read a statement. Please remember our HOA is committed to maintaining a positive and respectful community where discussions remain constructive and productive. To ensure effective town halls, I ask that everyone come prepared, keep discussions focused, and avoid unnecessary drama. Our HOA is committed to fostering a positive and collaborative community where all voices are heard and treated with civility. Please note that all discussion will be around the Vista perimeter fence. We will not be discussing any issues that do not directly pertain to this. Statements made on social media do not represent the board and will not be discussed at this town hall. Disrespectfulness or vulgar language toward board members, HOA administration, or other members, including the presenters tonight, will not be tolerated. If a member engages in disruptive behavior, the town hall will be paused and they will receive a warning. Disruptive behavior is including but not limited to speaking amongst yourselves when either a question is being asked or answered, or outbursts. If the behavior continues, they will be asked to leave. Should they refuse, the town hall will be adjourned. These measures ensure a professional and respectful environment for all. This evening's format will start with a presentation by myself and Bruce Garrison, with the intent of answering everyone's questions regarding the fence and potential resulting projects for that. After we have spoken, we have granted representatives of the Pickleball Club to present a 20-minute presentation. Following their presentation, we will have a question and answer session, so we can have a chance to hear from everyone who would like to speak. We ask that you please do not ask the same question already asked and or answered. We will ask each person to come up to the microphone, state their name and their subdivision. This town hall will be recorded, so we want to make sure that everyone is heard. Everyone should have picked up a handout when you came in. I know that we had some issues with that, and hopefully we can get that fixed. If not, please make sure to grab one in the packet. You will have both the letters from the association insurance broker and the association attorney. I know that reading them on the screen will be difficult, which is why we are providing them to you in writing. Please note that we have done the yellow highlighting on each letter to emphasize their opinions. Before discussing the insurance letter, I want to give a little history on this. Many of you know about the Apple League and the court usage. I'm not here to rehash any of that, just provide a timeline. In the summer of 2023, the association was made aware by both our insurance carrier and attorney regarding the necessity to restrict access to the pickleball court for non-resident trespassers. The perimeter fence was put in the 2024 reserve budget. No action was taken to help with the calming of the atmosphere. It was again put in the 2025 reserve budget. We started this process in 2025. We have spent months putting materials together, hearing the community, reviewing the 25-page ad hoc document provided by the Pickleball Club addressing their concerns and wishes. We promised a town hall to the community to share this information, for which we are here today. We are not able to get this all done in 2025, and as such, this has been carried over in the 2026 reserve budget again. In preparation of this town hall, we knew standing up here and telling you what was said would not be as well received. Therefore, we made the decision to get it in writing, and by doing so, we now have documentation that is discoverable at any potential litigation or claims. You will see from the letter from the insurance carrier that it is his opinion that the association has a duty to take any and all reasonable steps to manage risk throughout the community and access control to the currently unfenced sports courts facility is essential to our risk management strategy. It has been brought up that we could purchase reinsurance. What it accomplishes is it protects the HOA financially after an incident occurs, covers catastrophic claims that exceed our primary liability policy, and provides peace of mind, but does not reduce the likelihood of injuries or lawsuits. However, putting up a perimeter fence controls access. Only residents and authorized guests can use the courts. Reduce liability exposure because the HOA owes a lower duty of care to trespassers than to invited users. Cuts down on non-resident injuries, which are the most legally dangerous. Strengthens rules enforcement, hours, guest limits, noise mitigation, and shows insurers you're productively managing risk. If the HOA must choose one, fencing is generally the stronger long-term risk management move because it reduces exposure, improves enforceability, strengthens legal defensibility, and lowers future insurance costs. Aligns with industry's best practices for recreational amenities. Reinsurance is valuable, but it's a financial backstop, not a risk reducer. Additionally, the cost of reinsurance can be thousands of dollars a year with no return on limiting our risk. At this point, we should feel lucky that we have not had any claims or lawsuits against the association for this, but ask ourselves, do we not fix potential hazards or dangers at our home, or do we wait until someone is hurt on our property and then do something about it?
As for the attorney letter that's also in your packet of information, attorney letters contain a lot of legalese, but reading this letter, the bottom line is having unfenced pickleball courts could be deemed as falling below the reasonable standard of care because it's considered an industry standard to utilize fencing or other access control measures for sports courts owned by community associations and similar entities. The city of Peoria locks their sports courts every night to prevent people from being on them after park hours. We are unable to do this at the Vista Sports Courts. Before turning this over to Bruce, I want to address a few additional issues that I've heard brought up in the community. Bottleneck at the check-in desk. There should not be a bottleneck because all residents and their guests are required already to be checking in. Timeline leading up to the fence. So we, as committees, have had multitude of meetings addressing each and every component of the potential perimeter fence. The Recreation Committee, the Landscape, has actually had it at theirs 3 times, Architectural, Ways and Means, now the Town Hall. Safety on the courts. There's been a lot of talk about the potential safety issues on the stadium courts. Those are the center courts. However, there's been no formal request for this to be added to any agenda. And if there is a belief that there is an issue, please go through the proper channels and ask for it to be added first to the Recreation Committee and let it go from there. Fencing other areas, the likelihood of injury. It's been said that if we need to fence the pickleball courts, then we should do that at all areas. I hope common sense prevails. It's an attractive nuisance and high possibility of injury on the pickleball courts that necessitates the need. Statistics don't support high injuries amongst bocce ball, cornhole, horseshoes, or just sitting enjoying the common areas. Trespassers. I want to say, first of all, the Pickleball Club does an amazing job policing the courts when they are out there for club play. However, our issues are not during club play, but the times outside of club play. I'm sure that those of us that use the pickleball courts probably have seen or possibly had an altercation with someone that does not belong on our courts. Our staff should not be subjected to needing to come down to check to make sure people belong on the courts. It's sad to say that even our own residents that are not nice to them when asked for their identification. People wanting to stay outside of the club use only need to check their website and see when the club play time is. I would like to go ahead and turn this over to Bruce now.
Folks, if I knew this would have took to get this many people here, I think we'd do it. Hello? There you go.
Testing.
All right, now can you hear me? Okay. I apologize for that. As I said, if this was going to take to get this many people here, I think we would do this more often. This is wonderful. This is a wonderful turnout. I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much. You should be proud that you care for our community. Thank you. If you don't know me, my name is Bruce Garrison. I am your Vice President and Treasurer for Westbrook Village. It's been an honor to serve on this board. And I am probably the person that understands the design that went into this project and the budgeting for it. As you know, this budget was put forth at a budget meeting through Ways and Means. The budget was $175,000. Our number is lower than that. I don't think that's up there yet, but that will be coming soon. Our wonderful facilities manager conducted a bid process. It took a whole lot longer than we all expected. It was an uphill battle. We did receive 6 bids. We found one that truly addressed our needs to the fullest, and then we added another one at my request to move the shower and create a more user-friendly access to the pickleball courts from behind the desk. Okay, can we go back to that? Okay. We believe that minimizing how much fence we put in was advantageous. So you'll see in red, there's where the fence goes into the buildings. They go here into the pergola, and then there's a fence inside the pillars in the pergola, and then comes across and back here, leaving all the original accesses to the pickleball courts available as they are presently are. We've added 4 exit gates, one there, one there, one there, and one there. And those access gates will have panic bars on them for escapement. We will alarm them. So if somebody misuses them, we all know that they're there. We're adding sidewalks right there into the pergola from both sides. There'll be a sidewalk down here that comes out of the office area up into here. Whoops. And out here and then directly on the courts. That is the most direct route from our front desk. Okay, moving on to the shower. Is there another? There should be a picture of the shower. Oh, I'm sorry. We did slight changes on this. Here is our existing shower. and how it looks. What's going to occur is it's going to come. We have another picture, correct?
Well, just the top wall moves to the left. So we have the rendering.
I want the rendering, please. It's
Gotta go all the way to the, keep going.
I jumped out of order.
That's all right. There you go.
Forgive you. Okay. The shower right now exists right here. Shower wall is going to be moved to here. And we're going to add an extra set of stairs right here for our pickleball group people to come through here, down, and we're directly onto the courts. The new shower is right here. It's just moving literally probably 5 feet this way. Okay, now that I've jumped, we'll go back to the first of the renderings. Oops, too far. One more. One more. There you go. This is the representation of our fence. We will have a block wall. This is not a true representation of the block, but it will be a textured face block with the color impeded into it, so it cuts down on maintenance. That wall is 2 feet tall, and the picket fence that goes on top, which will be powder coated metal, will be 4 feet tall on top. Here's an idea of our gates. The difference being there will be a panic bar right across there like that. Here we go to the next one. This is how it looks from the south side of the courts. Here you see it going out to the sidewalk towards the pergola, then it parallels the pickleball courts all the way down to get to that far gate on the far side. In the pergola, it was felt that you were there. It was felt to leave it as wide open as possible, so this will be a full height 6 foot picket fence without use of the concrete block below, giving us plenty of daylight inside. Is there another one? Here is another gate. This is on the courts, what is it, 1 through 4, or yeah, 1 through 4. And the stadium courts are right here. They all are going to be identical. Okay, next. Again, here's on the west side. Same thing, where it's going to run into the corner of the building here. And here's our gate for escapement. And there's access to the courts right in there that isn't shown. Okay, next. Again, here's our shower. Is going to be identical to one that exists there now. Nothing's changing. It's just trying to make it move over to give us better access to the pickleball courts.
Excuse me, is the office at the top and off to the left a little bit?
Office is right in here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this is our refurbished gym right along here. There is our shower rooms are here. One of the positive things about this fence is now the whole complex is available to the pickleball courts. Meaning you come in at one point, you can now access everything. Bathrooms are quite convenient. They're going to be right there. There's also another set of bathrooms way out here, and then we have a third set even on the far side if somebody really wants to walk to them. All right. Can you go to the next slide, please?
Hey Bruce, can you tell us the total cost, what it's going to be with?
It's coming. The total cost is coming. As you can see, this project has been budgeted and considered by the board as a long-range project since 2024. So everybody's aware, these funds to support this project are not coming from our operating fund. This is coming from our reserve fund. And our reserve fund, as of my last Ways and Means meeting, is at 4.8 million. And folks, that's a wonderful number. That number is very strong right now. This does not come from your annual assessment. This comes from that fee we pay when you buy into this place. Okay, next. Okay, here's our costs. Perimeter fence in its own is $101,000. We added for safety a 10% contingency. This includes the concrete walkways at the shower and the remodel. The outdoor shower relocation is $33,546 plus a 10% contingency again, just in case there's a hiccup there. So your total cost, our total cost is $134,546. Plus 10%. That potential is always there, but that's much easier to mitigate if we plan ahead for it. What's our next one? Oh, back up. Sorry. Okay, one of the concerns with all our community is parking. This Vistas has 200 parking stalls out front and runs down the east side. We do not own the parking stalls behind the Vistas complex, behind the pickleball courts. Those are owned by the golf club, or the golf club. Okay, yeah. They have been gracious enough to let us use them, and me as a pickleballer use it all the time. Understand that there are going to be times when we are going to be inconvenienced with parking because some of the events we hold here. But it's an inconvenience. It's not the end of the world. And the truth is, we can always go around back and steal a few spots from the golf club. So, just know there are going to be events held in the parking lot, in the building, that will maximize our parkage usage. And for me, I find that to be a joy, because we are a very vibrant and exciting community, and we're using it to our fullest. Again, thank you for coming. It's a pleasure.
Thank you everyone for listening. We welcome your feedback and questions. Please remember that this is a vote of your elected board of directors. I yield the floor to the Pickleball Club for their 20-minute presentation, followed then by questions and answers posed by you, the audience.
Go back.
Hello everybody, my name is Tim Davis. I'm the secretary of the HOA board. This side really isn't the pickleball side. This is just, there's some people up there, but they're residents just like you. That's what we're here about. I want to make sure that we do whatever we do, we spend our money correctly and we do the right thing. So starting this off, I'm going to let Nancy Millar start us off.
Welcome everyone. I'm glad to see so many people. I'm glad that there's interest in this because there's a lot of issues that need to be discussed. I heard $134,000 for something that I'm not sure we really need. I have not heard anything about the count of trespassers we've had over the years. I've seen nothing about any kind of camera footage showing video surveillance of trespassers. So without any data, this is my starting point. Without any data, how do we talk about a solution without a problem? In 2022, apparently, the discussion of the fence popped up. Now you would think in 2022 we would start putting some data together to find out what the problem is, but nothing. We've been waiting for over a year to get information from the board and nothing. So my job today is to talk about some of the legal issues, and there are many. I have a big problem with the letter that our attorney wrote. Throughout the whole letter, it talks about trespassers, but yet do we have them? Do we need to know about the legal arguments with trespassers? I have gone through the letter, and again throughout the whole letter, Jessica mentions trespassers as being the problem here at Westbrook, and therefore the need to build a fence. I have no idea how she came to that conclusion, because if she has information that we don't have, that's not right. We should have that information as well. Because we don't have a trespassing problem here on the pickleball courts, she still comes to the conclusion early on that we need a fence to keep the common areas safe from unwanted players. Let me remind the audience that the pickleball club initiated a guest ban policy a long time ago to specifically deal with people that might come on the courts that shouldn't be there. The program has been very successful. Anyone on the courts who is not recognized as a club player or resident is immediately approached and questioned about their status. If they're not from Westbrook, they're told to leave or to go get a guest pass from the front desk. I think the program has worked very well. I'm sure if you ask a lot of the pickleball players, we know who plays on the courts, and if someone shows up that we don't know, we make sure that we find out who they are. In fact, maybe we do that too well, because sometimes we ask our residents several times and they get kind of irritated with us. So, the letter also made mention that we must have trespassers because there's not enough courts to go around in the West Valley. Well, that's absolutely not true. Things have changed. There's a lot of courts. There's courts everywhere. We're just not the only game in town like we used to be. This is basically popping up on Bell. There's at least 2 big court centers. In fact, a lot of our own players go to some of these facilities and play often. So again, we're not the only game in town, and I know that in the letter they tried to make it seem like we were, and therefore we probably have trespassers coming here. But I think that's a fallacy in their argument, because it's just not true. So it's still, excuse me, and still proven otherwise, the problem of trespassers at Westbrook has yet to be proved to me. However, if we were to be, if there were to be any at all, let's just give the example that we might have a few. Arizona law protects property owners from liability regarding trespassers. The attorney stated that, quote, the HOA bears the same responsibility for injuries sustained by a trespasser as it would by a resident. Nothing could be further from the truth. The Arizona revised statute clearly states, a possessor of real property, including an owner, easement holder, lessee, renter, or other occupant, does not owe a duty of care to a trespasser except to refrain from causing intentional or willful wanton injury. In other words, you have to be negligent. but just a trespasser in general, there's no duty owed by the property owner. So that's a misstatement by the attorney. Basically, premises liability does not apply to trespassers. After all, a trespasser has no legitimate reason to be on the private property. So it really makes sense not to hold, it makes sense to hold the property owner liable when the trespasser gets hurt. The attorney also mentioned that there is an exception to a trespasser, and that is the child nuisance, attractive nuisance law, which means that kids can be attracted to certain things and they might go in and trespass and not realize what they're doing. However, with the research that I did, pickleball courts are not an attractive nuisance in Arizona. Swimming pools are though, however. So probably most of you do know that, you know, if you have a pool in your backyard, you probably have to have a fence around it. So, without a problem, why do we need a solution? That's my answer. That's my question. I still think that we haven't found an answer yet to that. We surely don't need to spend $130,000 or $135,000 for something we don't need and we don't need to fix. Thank you.
Really quick, I just want to introduce Ashley over here. She is our new employee, and I told her this is a big event and don't screw it up. Okay, so that being said, Joe Bernier is one of our board of directors. He's been here for almost a year, and Joe Bernier.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for the great participation tonight. I did not plan on speaking tonight. I want to thank you guys for letting me come in for a couple minutes and speak. Frankly, I'm not a pickleballer, and I am completely neutral on this fence. And I was neutral, frankly, until today. As a board member, I owe you all an apology. For months and months, I've been stating, there's no letter that exists from the attorney. There's no letter that exists from the insurance company. And here tonight, we get these letters, and if you look at the dates, we've had them for months, and they're addressed to me, they're addressed to Tim, they're addressed to the board members. But I haven't seen it, I haven't been able to make many notes about it. I see some discrepancies in both letters. And I'm appalled and shocked that I'm in this position as a board member to try and address something that's very critical in the community. Look at this turnout here. So I want to apologize to everybody for being in this position. I'm going to do my best to make sure this never happens again. Frankly, I think this is a polarizing, contentious thing that we're trying to decide. And really part of me feels like it should be on a ballot. That maybe we should and frankly, the design, I brought this up when it was first presented to us that we were coming up with a design that meets the ACC guidelines and things like that. And I said, well, cyclone fencing doesn't meet ACC guidelines, yet that's what's around the tennis courts, that's what's around the pickleball courts. And this design here is not going to prevent any team from simply hopping over and using this. It needs to be, we need to have access controls that are true access controls with security cameras. We need to enter this millennium. We need to be able to use our passes to access everything. And this will lead to us needing controlled access for all the other open areas. And really what we're questioning here is, what do you guys call it, the tournament level? Stadium courts. The other courts are fenced. It's just the stadium court that's open. So we're going to spend this kind of money just to cage up the stadium court. There's got to be a better way to do that. We really need, one more thing about attractive nuisance. In order to be attractive, you must be seen. Nobody knows when they drive by that those courts are back there. Okay, this is getting a little bit, we're going off into the weeds on some stuff when we talk about these things. As a village, we need to do better than this. Frankly, we are better than this, but I want to extend my true apology for not being involved the way that we should be. Thank you.
Okay, not last, but not least either, is Jake Lucero.
Hello, everyone. Hey, Joe. Worse than what you said is it says you requested the letter. You're a board member. You don't remember that, huh? Okay, but anyway, so first of all, I thought I was going to be sitting on that side and just have something to say. I didn't know I was going to be up here in the podium, but or at the head table. But so I would like to address. I just got the letters today, and I wrote some things here that I thought I should bring up. I'd like to address the letters from the attorney and the insurance broker. Emphasis on the broker who's not actually from the insurance company that underwrites the policy. He's the letter from. I'm going to start with the letter from the attorney. Just Mace Cope states that this letter was solicited. This was a solicited letter from the BOD. No attorney is going to issue a letter saying anything different about anything else that would shift any liability onto them. That would be silly. If you ask the same question about any of the other amenities, hence the tennis court, bocce ball, horseshoe pits, the answer would be the same. That a person hit by a bocce ball, horseshoe, or even a tennis ball is far more dangerous than being hit by a pickleball. If one was to read the letter, you can see that there's a lot of play on wording to fit the real request of this letter, which is to acquire backing for a pro-fence agenda. Jessica mentions that the vast majority of other association common area recreational facilities are fenced. She didn't say all, because they're absolutely not all fenced in. And when they are fenced in, they have exits, not emergency exits. You could just walk out. As a retired former division president for one of the largest home builders in the country, I've visited and built too many communities and amenity facilities to count. I have seen many fenced in, and I've seen many that are not. She could have easily just wrote on that letter that all recreational amenity fence areas are fenced. Not all of them are fenced, I should say. The letter states that an unfenced pickleball court creates a significant liability, and this is going to be a little bit redundant on some of the things that Nancy had touched on, and we didn't compare these notes, but the letter states that an unfenced pickleball court creates significant liability concerns for the association, but then she states that the association bears the exact same responsibility for injuries to an unauthorized user, trespasser, as it would be for an authorized guest. Meaning they're the same, whether they trespassed or not. They still have the same liability if you have liability. Because in Arizona, property owners and HOAs have limited liability for sports injuries due to the assumption of risk doctrine, meaning users accept inherent risk when playing sports. Also in Arizona, properties generally have minimal to no liability for injuries to adult trespassers, even during sports. Unless the owner intentionally harms or creates a hidden attractive nuisance, like a swimming pool or machinery or construction area that draws children in, making them liable if a kid gets hurt. And then the next paragraph here, the attractive nuisance doctrine does not directly apply to pickleball courts. It's very specific, and like Nancy mentioned, swimming pools, machinery, and specific things are part of the attractive nuisance doctrine. Regarding case law quoted, Martinez versus Woodmar for Condominium Homeowners Association says that the Homeowners Association has a heightened duty to keep its common area safe. Please tell us all how a fence makes it safer in the pickleball area. Regarding the letter from the insurance broker, first of all, this is a letter from a broker of an independent insurance company which is actually a third party with a financial interest, meaning he provided a letter that's tailored to the decision maker's request. He's not actually speaking on behalf of the insurance carrier that underwrites the insurance policy. It's my experience when I bid out and acquire liability insurance that within a few weeks, the insurance carrier sends out a person to do an on-site audit. The auditor will then write a report with photos of anything that needs to be addressed, repaired, and or replaced to continue coverage or exempt those items from the policy. This is not a letter that does that. The letter itself only stating the obvious, and I'm summarizing here, if you have claims or multiple claims, your rates could go up, or worse, you could be terminated. I will say again, this letter is not that. It's not from an insurance carrier that could be, and should not be presented as such. The letters are suspiciously dated after the install the fence proposal. These are solicited letters which have opened a Pandora's box for us. If someone gets injured at any of our other amenity centers, these letters could come back and be used against us because we are on record of having been noticed, if that case applies, which, except Arizona law will prohibit that from happening. I also want to mention that in my 10 years here at Westbrook Village, I have seen an uncountable number of trespassers, if you want to call them, fishing in the lakes. Yet to see. Correct? And I've yet to see an actual trespasser on the pickleball courts. And I don't see anyone proposing to build a fence around the lakes. Nancy touched on, I realize that there's a lot of homeowners that occasionally will go out when they guest and go play pickleball, and my assumption is that they're getting counted or recognized as a trespasser, and my wife was part of that group. In her first year playing here, she was constantly asked to a point where she wanted to make sure, as I brought it up, wanted you to say yes, and then in the back, I live here. And that's how you would play pickleball. Yeah, exactly. But in closing, we do appreciate all the work the board members do. It's all volunteer. They work hard. They put in a lot of time. We appreciate that. But the board of the board of directors most always are occupied by very smart leaders and not followers. Do the right thing. Vote how the people of Westbrook Village want you to vote, and not what you're convinced of by an extremely, extremely small minority or an employee. At the very least, before you vote yes, put it to a vote of the homeowners.
I have no idea why you're standing for. I thought I was standing. I just want to let you know I spent 2 days on a PowerPoint presentation, and it looks like I don't have to say a word.
Hi everybody, my name is Donna Kardinowski. I live in Village Terrace. We've been here for just over 9 years. Love it here. Oops, I'm going to move this whole thing. Just to kind of summarize it up, let me get back to our opening remark. And I quote, "We have a solution. We're searching for a problem." The HOA board wants you to believe we have a serious issue of trespassers at our pickleball courts. Do you think they've met the burden of proof? No. I don't think so. That's what I'm saying. Yes. However, even if there were a few trespassers, were any claims filed with our insurance company? The Peoria Police? Or even the Westbrook Posse? We all do call the Posse, probably the easiest one to call. I am not aware of anything. I have not heard of anything. Also, Arizona law is very clear that property owners are not held liable for trespassers. However, I would like to address an issue that has been overlooked. I can see better this way. Our pickleball courts are a place of social togetherness. just like the tennis courts, the cornhole, bocce ball, horseshoes, even bingo, and all of the other clubs we have. We are here to enjoy life and to have a great time doing it, no matter what we choose, whether we're running around crazy on a court or we're sitting playing cards with our friends. That's why we are here. That's why we've chosen this, for social togetherness. The suppression of access by installing a fence will limit people visiting us while we're playing and they're out walking their dogs. They're taking a stroll by the pickleball courts. They stop and say hi, or just come by to watch a game. Some people were injured and they're not able to play for a while, but they still want to come, have camaraderie with all of us, and have a great time watching. What a great way to meet new friends in the community and invite them to join our club. Others who have limited mobility will think twice about coming to visit because they will have to now go around to the front desk and then walk through the slippery pool area. They might choose not to come anymore. Excuse me, thank you. Our courts provide a wide variety of social entertainment. That's why we all moved here, to our beautiful Westbrook Village. Let's keep it full of fun and liveliness. Don't lock it up. We deserve better. I do agree with Joe Vernier. Let's put it to a vote, and let's put it on the ballot. Thank you.
I just have one final thing to put with our group here, and that is an individual story, and maybe you'll all kind of understand what we're talking about. Closing up our courts is going to affect one of our senior players in pickleball, Seymour. Seymour, are you want to stand up for a minute? Seymour, there you go. Seymour has been with the pickleball club for years and years, and he's one of our very favorite geezers that we have. He's one of the founding members of the Geezer Club. But more important is that Seymour, for the last 5 years, has been coming to the courts with his dog, Buddy. Buddy was a rescue dog, and Buddy had a hard time getting along with the people in the pickleball area. But now, being with Seymour for 5 years, Buddy loves everyone and everyone loves Buddy. Seymour cannot go to the pickleball court without Buddy following him. He sits there until Seymour finishes playing, and then he comes back. But it's just a story of such love and heartwarming to all of us to see. And if we have a fence, Buddy doesn't get to come anymore. And I don't know about you, but that pulls at my heartstring. So anyway, thank you, Seymour, for letting me use your story. Thank you all for listening to us. Appreciate it.
Okay, let's go ahead and we'll open it to questions and answers. You have a mic out there. There we go. All right, if anybody would like to come up and ask a question, that would be great. Please remember to state your name and your subdivision that you are in. And if you want to start a line, go right ahead.
Hi, I'm Jan Tolman. I live in Cypress Points. I have just a general question that does not require an answer, but for everybody in here, how many people who already clearly own your homes, you're not mortgaged, continue to have insurance on your home? How many people in here who own your cars free and clear but have insurance on your cars? Not required by the mortgage holder, not required by the lender, but you choose to do it. How many people in here have a security door on their home? You don't wait until you've been robbed or you've been sued or any other incidents happens. This is pre-planning, it's thinking ahead. And it seems to me that that's not a bad thing, and that's all I wanted to say.
Hi, my name is Marcia Olbrook. I'm from Tamron Place. My question is, if we have a fence around the courts and we can only come in through the rec center, what happens on holidays when the rec center's not closed, when a lot of us want to play pickleball, continue to keep our exercise going? What happens then that we can't get into the courts?
Well, technically, when the rec center is closed, nobody should be on the pickleball courts. Because
so they can't be doing anything? We shouldn't walk around Westbrook Village then because
No, that's not what I'm saying. If the rec center is not open, then none of the amenities are open, including the tennis courts. So the fact of the matter is, the pickleball courts really should not be used on the 3 days a year that we're closed, because our facilities are closed on those days. There's nobody managing, there's nobody there if something happens or anything, so.
Don't agree with it, but okay.
Yeah.
This just point. My concern is for people that have some disabilities and cannot walk the distance from the front desk to the pickleball courts. Now they park out front, they swipe, they drive around. There are handicap parking places right there. They can get in it easily. You're gonna triple the distance that these people have to walk. Right, they might just play a little bit of pickleball, but that walk from the desk to the courts might be all they have. My next question is, you have stairs coming to the pickleball courts. Do you have a ramp? Because I didn't see a ramp.
There is a ramp on the opposite side.
But that's fenced, right?
No. It is open. It would be open to be able to get down there. Yeah, there is a ramp to be able to.
I think there is a statute too, that you, in a new construction project, you should not significantly make the distance greater for someone with handicap parking. Thank you.
Mine is saying the ADA requires a ramp, so the ramp that's there would be...
Name and subdivision, please.
Oh, it's a subdivision. I'm John Shy from Monterey Greens. It's not really low. But yeah, the ADA requires a ramp, so the whole thing about moving the showers would be you need to go down the ramp, go all the way across the pool, so why are you moving the showers? Because you can't just put stairs and go around.
But we do have a ramp. It's on the opposite side. And the shower moving is a convenience thing to be able to get to the pickleball courts. That if you don't move the shower, then you would be walking around the whole way.
The ramp you're talking about is the one that leads into the pool area?
No, it's next to it.
It's next to the pool area.
It's next to the bathrooms on the other side, but it's definitely an additional walk to get over there.
I have to look at that, thanks. Sorry.
Here's the bathroom.
This is perfect for me. Hi, I'm Candace Isherwood. I'm from Fairway Springs. I just have one or two questions. The first one is, Jake, who are you?
I'm Jake Lucero. I live in Tamron Point. I've been here 10 years.
Tamron.
I've been here for 25 years. I don't know who you are. What is your specialty that you were able to go through a lawyer letter and kind of pull it apart and, you know, construction?
Correct. I have a construction background in construction management. I managed it. I work for Toll Brothers. We're one of the largest. We're the largest luxury home builder in the country.
Sure. I
So
know.
I've got my background is in finding pieces of dirt and building communities like this.
Okay.
That's what I did for a living.
Okay. And lawyer?
I worked with attorneys on a daily basis to develop CC&Rs, guidelines, you name it. Like I said, I dealt with attorneys.
Okay. Well,
so I'm not an attorney.
Right.
Right.
And the only reason I asked is because you didn't introduce who you were. So when you got up, I'm like, who is this guy? Who's Jake?
Well, I think if you threw a show of hands, probably a lot of people know me because I've been playing golf here for 10 years, and I started playing pickleball a couple years ago, so I bet you 90% of the people in here know who I am.
That's Jake from State Farm.
And he knows insurance.
There you go.
Okay, and Jake, I honestly have to tell you, I think you might be wrong about that trespassers aren't we're not equally responsible for them, but I'm not sure.
No, I said we are equally responsible for them, meaning it's the same, whether they trespass or not. It's not less or more. It's the same liability you have regardless.
Okay, I apologize.
Yes.
I misunderstand, but someone else said it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and the only last question I have is, how much did we spend on the pickleball courts when we converted them? Million?
Just short of that.
Short of $1 million? Okay. I'm just saying that because you know where I stand. I think we should have a fence.
We don't know who you are.
I have no idea.
We don't know who you are.
I have no idea how you stand. Did she say how she stood? Where do you stand? Where do you stand?
Oh, where do you stand?
Oh, I'm not.
Okay,
I'll tell you.
all right, here we go.
All right, just so you know, I want to protect the $1 million courses. That's where I stand. Okay?
Thank you. I didn't know either.
Hi, how are you? My name is Regina Phillips Balsamesa. I live in the Village Square. Hello. And I am an attorney. You were very on point in your presentation. Pickleball courts are flat asphalt. They're not an attractive nuisance. The thing that might be are those stairs that people might. But I have not heard anyone say there's been a police report filed, police called. So as to the first speaker, she talked about, oh, why take the risk? Well, there's something called risk assessment. People know this from many kinds of insurance. So first we need to know and be aware to even be liable that there's trespassers. And you won't know that unless they've been reported by police. The fact that that attorney letter or insurance says, oh, we heard there's trespassers, isn't proof to me. Somebody told them to say that. I mean, I'd like to see the record. So, first, actually, to make a good decision, because Bruce, I defer with you on we have money in there, it's not going to come out of it. The reason we all are living in this beautiful resort area is because we didn't unnecessarily spend money. We saved money, and we could afford to live in this beautiful, beautiful area, which I think the board has done a very good job keeping beautiful. But to spend money because we have it never makes sense. To spend money because we need to. Now you got me thinking. We need 8-foot fences around those lakes on the golf course.
We do not own the lakes. The golf course owns the lakes. We have no control
Okay, but
over that.
our residents' children are not safe because they come down that sidewalk walking, they roll their little baby carriages, people use our general areas, and they see those lakes. They don't see the pickleball courts normally. Passerbyers, kids from other neighborhoods driving through see the lakes. They don't see the pickleball courts. They're tucked behind. The only reason you would see them is because you're going to play golf or you're going to eat food back there at the restaurant, at the links. That's where you would be exposed to it. Now, we're not talking about little kids driving cars. If a child comes by and sees it because they're 16 or over, you know, there's a whole difference. If you want to put a fence, let's put an 8-foot fence. Because that's what you need to do if you're calling it attractive nuisance. Now give us figures on that and let's see how happy people are with that. So you need to assess your risk, and so far, if you really want to do this and not be liable for making a bad financial decision here, because we might need the money for something else, just because we have this doesn't mean you would blow it, then I think you need to do more research on if truly, we do have incidences that would cause you to spend that money. Another thing that was said is about well, we can't police this. Well, I know that those pickleball members wear a little name tag. I know because my husband plays pickleball. I never see him. He's there all the time. And that's okay. I enjoy that he's not there all the time. But those name tags that they wear already identify them as residents. Now, everyone is supposed to check in front. So I'm talking about the access to play. So when you give that guest that wristband, if someone's not on the pickleball team, you can also give them a wristband for that day so people understand that they checked in, and no one needs to bother them and insult them and say, oh, do you live here? Because that can be kind of insulting to have a pickleball player come and question you. But you're doing it anyway for guests. You can have those wristbands. You're doing it anyway. We have an employee on a salary. It's not costing extra money to do that. Now, if you still have that employee, they can take a little 5-minute walk and break, stretch their legs, get out from behind the desk, go back there and look. It's much cheaper than putting a new fence there. So there are alternatives for security, for accessibility. Yes. As a responsible board, I think it would take more time to do. It hasn't been an emergency, right? We haven't had a big injury or a lawsuit or anything, have we? Do we have the police coming all the time patrolling because we've got a bunch of young thugs with skateboards? I don't know. Because I don't know, I live by the lakeside, I don't live by the vistas, and I don't see that. But I'm not hearing that. So until I hear that, I don't think this is an emergency. I appreciate the time that you've taken to do this with maybe the best intentions, maybe not. I don't know enough about the history of it. But the fact is, it's not enough for us as a public to think that's okay to how to spend our money. Something really bad could happen that we have to fix that costs money, and maybe the reserves won't cut it. They look like healthy reserves. The place looks beautiful. You're doing a great job. Don't mess it up.
Thank you.
I got to follow that. Bruce made a comment about the parking area. And I had asked a question at a previous board meeting, and a board member told me, I'm concerned.
Your name and where you live.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't live here. I'm a trespasser. Iron Estates. At any rate, I'm concerned that we don't have enough parking in the south lot, which is the most convenient way to enter once the big fence goes around. Right now we use the north lot, which belongs to the golf course, but they don't need it. They're at capacity, and we've used that apparently for years. I've been going there for 3 years. If we block that off, everybody who does not have room in the south park will have to go and park in the north area and walk around. That's not just pickleball players, that will be anybody that comes here when that lot is full. I was told at a board meeting that there was an experience when the golf course was resurfacing that north lot, and there was plenty of parking. So I checked it. That happened in October of 2019. Not a busy month, and 6 years ago. They had 279 daily users at the Vistas during that month. Looking a little closer, February of this past year, there were 447, 60% more people using the Vistas facility during the busy part of the year, 6 years later. That's 60% more, 168 people a day more than had been using it previously. I'm concerned that that observation that was made by the board member went unchecked by no one else questioned it. And I'm concerned that if that's the kind of due diligence that was done on the parking aspect of it, what about the rest? You know, it doesn't sound like the attorney and the insurance broker were really putting together anything that was relevant to our situation. I know that the parking information that one at least board member fed me was totally inaccurate. So I'm a little concerned. I hope that you guys listen to what you hear here. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think so.
Hi, I'm Christine Harder in Fairway Ridge. A question, is there a way of, whether there's a fence or not, putting a swipe box on the north side instead of having people have to just, please?
Swipe box where?
Well, on the north side.
So-
Rather than having everybody have to go through there. I mean, what I do is actually sometimes I will admit I swipe after I'm there. I park because I get there at the last minute and then I drive around to the front as I leave and swipe. So do we have to be swiping all at the same place, or can we make more than one place to swipe?
At the pergola.
At the pergola, say.
Please.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me? Yes, there is a way. And there's a way to swipe everywhere we go. And some communities do that.
Is there a reason not to then?
The only reason right now is we haven't done enough research on it and a financial reason. There is a cost to each entry point. My research says it's about $3,000.
So I think that, I don't know whether it sounds like maybe there is somewhat of an agreement of people to do that, whether you have a fence or not. And then my second question is, if there needs to be a fence to protect against the children for the stadium courts, could we just fence the stadium court? That would be my other comment, just to put before you.
My name is Rick Martinez, and I live at St. Andrews, which I guess is in phase 2. I'm very happy here at Westbrook Village. My concern is liability. I also own a property in the Grand, and the Grand the board was sued by a former board member. That case went to court, and now there was argument, and the board won. But now there's argument over $700,000 in court costs. Obviously, most people would say it was a frivolous suit, but the board member who sued took it all the way through the appeals process, and the board, the association, and the homeowners are now fighting over $700,000 worth of legal fees. I think this is a prudent matter, particularly since we now have it on record that safety and trespassing is a concern. We now have a record that we recognize this as a concern. So my question is, if the board proceeds to remedy this situation with the fence or any other types of structure to provide the association with legal protection against an accident, will it be reviewed get a legal opinion that whatever we put up, if we choose to put it up, addresses the liability concern and also the insurance concern? Because that's correct. Apparently we don't have documented cases of trespassers, or if there were trespassers, not a volume that maybe most people would be considered a problem. But personal stories, I've never been robbed. I lock my doors every damn day. So I think this is prudent, and if you go forward, please protect us with regard to liability and legal costs, and antidotes that aren't going to cut it in court. Documentations will, and I hope that if the board goes down that road, that we protect the homeowners with limiting liability, because it only takes one to file a court case. And whether or not it's valid or not, that's for the courts to decide. That's not for you to decide. That's not for the homeowners to decide. That's up to the courts, and pray you get a good judge. Thank you.
No, hold on, don't go anywhere. So, I wanted to address your concern.
Yes, sir.
So, by profession, my business is in sports and recreation risk management.
Right.
So, Arizona revised statutes dictate, first of all, if your facilities are compliant, you can put up, again, there was ARS 33-1502A. Basically, you put up the proper signage. It says don't trespass, no roller skaters, no skateboarders, all that stuff. That's one of your reasons to get out of jail free card. There's another one, but again, not to get too boring. That was all my crud with the PowerPoint. But we looked at that here, and the Westbrook Village has put up those signs. So so far we're in good standing. So basically, if our facilities are compliant, meaning that if somebody comes on board and there's nothing there that's going to cause them harm, right? Then the onus is on them.
Okay, thank you. My name is John Warman. I'm from Country Club Estates. I have 3 little issues here. This project has been going on for a while. You started out saying that there was letters in summer of '23. Well, I'm also very sad that the board members didn't get these letters until yesterday, as they're saying. That just doesn't, that should shoot the project in itself. The permit thing, according to the city 3 weeks ago when I contacted them, they had only a statement that plans were going to be brought in. So this project, of course we haven't even seen really the project bid itself to see what it was, but hasn't even been put to the city to see if it meets all their laws and requirements. The last thing, if we're going to do stuff, we have a big medical kit by the pool and by the bathrooms on the east side. It's full of medicines, Band-Aids, everything you can think of. But we're not a pharmacist. We're not a pharmacy. They had nothing to do with pickleball or anything. The one thing missing was I could not find anywhere aspirin. And one of our major problems at our age is stroke. Why isn't somebody monitoring this, and why are we paying somebody to fill this big cabinet every 3 months or whatever with garbage that we don't need? Let's see here. Oh, the third thing. When there's I asked the board, and not the board, the people up front at the reception desk, what happens if something happens out, somebody comes in and reports somebody fell, broke their arm, did this or whatever. Do you call 911? Do you call closest relative? No, the only thing we do is fill out a report. So if we're going to address things that might help the people living here, let's address some of those.
So to address your couple things, we can't distribute aspirin, and the receptionists do call 911 all the time for the different things. So I'm not positive on that comment, but they do call 911. That's what their directive is, especially if somebody is injured on the pickleball courts or any other place in the community.
Good evening, Mark Hayes of Tamron Place. So we've been talking a lot about liability tonight, which is great, but I just wanted to point out that if you're going to put in the perimeter fence, just make sure you do your due diligence in terms of understanding the exiting requirements. I saw the plan, it showed, 4 exits and panics, that's good, but somebody's got to know the code, and I don't know if it's the city that's responsible for that, the building code official to determine that, but you've got exits. I walked the rec center a little bit, it looks like you got required exits coming out of the ballroom, right? Coming out of all the adjacent occupied spaces, the fitness room, the glass studio, etc. You're also now exiting people that are coming out of the pool deck area. All those occupants are now exiting into our pickleball area. And then you got to figure the occupants of the pickleball area. And so there needs to be a study by somebody that says, the number of exits, the exit width, distance between exits, just so that we don't get more liability by not designing this incorrectly.
Yeah, and just to answer the question about talking to the city, we would not be doing any permitting or anything until a project is passed and we're going forward with the project. But absolutely, any project in this community has been and will be always followed by the code that is established by the governing fathers, whether it be the city or the county, whoever is overseeing it. So
somebody needs responsible to do those calculations. That's all I'm saying.
Mark, can I ask you to stay again? What did you do for a profession?
I was an architect.
You were an architect?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
For 30 years. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And you're absolutely right. So one of the things that, I'm sorry, Jake, you want to say?
Yeah, when you're done, go ahead. So I'm glad, Mark, I didn't know you were an architect. So part, I got to see the design today, so I got some other issues and whatever, but first of all, I want to mention real quick that it seems like 4 cameras on that facility with a monitor inside the reception area would be far better and more dependable than a fence to address not only that, but the other gentleman's concern. I was raised the opposite way, where my dad said, we didn't lock the doors when I was raised. He didn't lock the door of his car. You just take out, and I still do that to this day. If I want not to be broken into my vehicle, I just don't leave anything in there that they can see to break in. I'd rather them not break my window to find that out, right? And as my dad raised me, he said, locks and fences are only there to keep only keep honest people out. A trespasser is not an honest person, a true trespasser by definition. Second, so I have concerns, like for one, I see that the Ramada is getting fenced in. Well, the Ramada, when you look at the mapping, the way it was recorded, and the civil engineers in here will understand this, that property doesn't belong to Westbrook, the Westbrook Association. It belongs to the golf club, along with the parking lot. So I'm not sure the golf club will like what they see there, because as a golfer and pickleball player, I recognize that they don't regularly use that Ramada, but occasionally they do, because when I go there to refill my water bottle, I run into golfer friends that are sitting there having a beverage, and talking or whatever. So the golf club who owns that property, so my point is when you go through, I don't think it's going to be approvable through planning and zoning. They might have a problem with that, but that's not the end of the world, because now you just built a different part of the Ramada or water or whatever somewhere else. I mean, that's not going to terminate this project. But the other thing is, I have a feeling that ADA may have a problem with the fact that you're going to make the person on a wheelchair go farther than the general use of the pickleball facility. That one's questionable. I had another concern, which Bruce did address, which is emergency egress. Bruce addressed that, panic bars. The only thing they might make us do is maybe like on the back where a fire truck is likely to show up at, where they have been showing up at, is maybe a Knox box over there, just in case nobody...
Jake, to answer your question, Knox boxes will be on all 4 of those new ones. Yeah, they are. And also too, we have a survey that has been done, and we are in conversations with the golf course on the Ramada. So we will assure, because we know that that is a very important thing to pickleball, is that Ramada and the access to it. So
yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I think the cameras would be a great solution, because the fence isn't going to keep trespassing.
I'll go, but I just want to make sure that whoever looks at this, they know that there's other occupants that are all coming out these same doors that added the occupant load, and you got to do the due diligence.
Absolutely.
Hi, Todd Treda from Fairway Springs. I just had one quick comment, and just because you have insurance doesn't mean you can't be sued. So the whole talk about watch out for your legal fees and costs, you can be sued if you have a fence, if you have insurance, you have anything. So that story about $700,000 in legal fees, that could happen no matter what.
Yep. And he just said what I was going to say. A lawsuit can happen whether you have a fence or whether you don't have a fence. A lawsuit, all the fees can occur no matter what we do. If you're gonna sue, you're gonna sue.
My name is David Carragher. I live in Tamarin, and Jake, don't worry, I know who you are. He's my next door neighbor. My question is simple, very simple. This is a lot of money, $140,000. And you have a nice, easy access point to get on the pickleball court. That $33,000 for access, that's a lot. So here's my question, a lot of energy around this, both sides. Why not let us vote on what we do? And then we won't be pissed off at the board for doing it, or not doing it. I prefer the vote.
Amen.
Toby Weeks, has the posse any record of any trespass in the pickleball courts?
No, over here. He answered you.
We don't get that.
No.
Okay. My second question.
Just
Oh.
clarify what Bob said. Bob said we don't get those calls, they go to the police.
The posse does not get those calls. They would generally go to the police. The posse is also not open in the later evening hours also. So if anybody was going to call, they would be calling the Peoria police.
Staff is trained to go to the police, not the posse.
Okay, my second question is, has the Westbrook Association ever been sued for any type of injury?
We've been named.
We've been originally named and then found that we were not part of it, yes. When we've had contractors on site.
Was that a case of a trespasser?
No.
Because it was inside this facility here. So they had to come through the desk.
Okay, thank you.
So my name's Velma Bloom. I live in Eagle Ridge. I've been here only a year and a half. I've lived in Peoria over 30 years. I don't understand why we have a solution to something that isn't a problem. And if you're talking about trespassers, I've only been here 18 months, but I have people knocking on my door at least once a month. And mostly because I'm a new resident, because they can figure that out right on records. Do you need a roof? Do you need paint? Do you need other things? Well, if you're going to talk about trespassing, I think we have more people that knock on doors than we have people in our facilities without a guest or without guest passes. So at least if you're going to look for a solution and you're going to be part of the board, have a problem you're solving. Don't be in a position where you're doing that. So I really appreciate your comments there going, what are we doing? We don't parent that way. You don't parent a solution, you parent a problem. Schools, anywhere. So I don't understand why this was such a big deal when it isn't a problem. And if it's a problem, you would have had the information for us to show that it was.
Yeah.
Good job. Okay, we're going to take one last question for the evening. There you have
The man of the hour.
I don't know about that. Steve Greer, Cypress Point. I have just a basic, ordinary question. How well lit is the new facility that you're trying to design going to be lit? Because there's nighttime use as well. Has anybody addressed the lighting issue whatsoever on the path of travel?
On the courts and the walkways?
The courts, the walkways, the relocated showers, now you're having access blocked. Okay, and then somebody had touched on the ADA. That's a big can of worms. If you've done any construction in your life, Jake is aware of it, I'm very aware of it. That's going to be something to get through the city that you're going to really struggle with.
Right.
And you well know that because there was something addressed earlier for the middle courts, and we could not do any of the restoration because it couldn't even come close to the ADA requirements because it cost. It was off the charts.
Steve, you bring up a good point, because any grandfather issues you have in the community will go out the window. You start.
100%. You do any new build, you've got to comply to all the new regulations. That's a given. So I'm just, simple question, what are we going to do about the path of travel for life? That's it. So something to think about.
Okay, hold on, it's not a town hall or a meeting unless Mike Barnett addresses it.
As you know, my name is Mike Barnett. I've lived here 31 years. I live in Cypress Point Estates. I've been very active. I'm a Korean War veteran, and I'm disabled now. I swim, I go to the gym, but I'm looking at this fence and it looks like a very nice gate where I park my car or cart to go play on the east court. The pickleball club allows me to play because I'm old and injured, and there's other guys that have strokes that we're taking them in, and they all park by this northeast handicap spot, and we walk directly to that east court, 25 steps. So my concern is, if you put this fence up, can I use that gate? Thank you.
I would like to thank everyone for attending this evening. I hope that with the information that has been provided here this evening, you have a better understanding of the issues. I know. I want to thank the Pickleball Club and or the representatives for giving their input. This matter will be on the February 4th board agenda for the sitting board to make a decision. Thank you all for coming out, and please be careful and safe leaving. Go Hawks!